in an escalating court battle with the University of Iowa. It is now seeking permanent equal treatment for all organizations on campus. Mark Martin is in the newsroom now with more on this story. Mark?
From the nonprofit religious freedom law firm Beckett represents InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. It says the University of Iowa admitted in court that it discriminates against religious student groups. InterVarsity Christian Fellowship has been on the campus for more than 25 years, but last summer it banned them and more than a dozen student religious groups for asking their leaders to adhere to the faith of the organizations. After InterVarsity filed a lawsuit, the faith groups were temporarily reinstated, but Beckett lawyers say the university continues to resist a permanent fix and insist that it can treat religious groups different from other groups. Now, on Thursday, InterVarsity asked a federal court to permanently mandate equal treatment for every campus organization. The director of external relations at InterVarsity Christian Fellowship USA, Greg Zhao, issued a statement saying InterVarsity seeks to serve the University of Iowa, its students and faculty, and the local community. We invite the university to embrace a common sense understanding of its non-discrimination policy. The policy should protect rather than penalize religious groups that seek to retain their religious identity on campus. CBN News reached out to the University of Iowa for comment. A spokesperson told me over the phone they could not do an interview while the case is pending, but shared previous statements with me, writing the university has nothing new to provide at this time. In the December 2017 statement, the university said it does not tolerate discrimination of any kind and went on to say the University of Iowa recently found business leaders in Christ violated the UI's human rights policy and the Iowa Civil Rights Act, and the organization will guarantee that equal opportunity and equal access to membership programming, facilities, and benefits shall be open to all persons. And Ephraim Beckett says other religious groups not allowed on campus included the Sikh Awareness Club, Chinese Student Christian Fellowship, Imam Mahdi Organization, and Latter-day Saint Student Association. Ephraim, back to you.
Joining us now from our Washington, D.C. bureau is attorney Eric Baxter. He's with Beckett Law, the company representing InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. So, Eric, what can you tell us? Update, where does this case now stand legally?
And the university has really moved into the absurd. They're telling religious student groups that they can't require their own leaders to share their religion, so Christian groups can't ask their leaders to be Christian, Jewish groups can't ask their leaders to be Jewish. Sikh groups can't ask their leaders to be Sikh, and all these groups have been kicked off campus because they asked their leaders to share their faith. So it's really, like I said, just moved into absurdity.
What have you seen from students in these groups in terms of their response? How are they handling this?
You know, the students are really surprised. They see these university administrators who are PhDs handing out PhDs, and they don't seem to know the first thing about the First Amendment. So the students are really surprised at the treatment they're getting, but they're optimistic that the courts will get this right.
Seems like we've been following this for a while. Why do you think we're seeing such cases of discrimination against religious groups on college campuses?
You know, it's hard to say what exactly is driving this. The universities allow fraternities to discriminate on the basis of sex. They allow their sports teams to do the same. They allow all kinds of ideological groups to push their own missions. But for some reason, when it comes to religion, they feel that religious groups asking their leaders to be religious violates their non-discrimination policies. It really makes no sense, and it's really just boils down to blatant anti-religious discrimination on the part of university officials.
As I mentioned, we're seeing cases like this pop up at schools and colleges across the country. Is there a more permanent solution to help these groups to combat this kind of backlash from their secular institutions?
Well, we think we're very optimistic the courts are going to get this right and just tell universities that once they allow student groups on campus, they can't discriminate against groups because of their religious background. And it's really the best for all students. Students need organizations that share their beliefs, that they can join to, deal with the challenges of university life. And these groups, perform great service on campus. They provide a great resource for students. And really the best solution is just to let students choose for themselves what groups they'll belong to.
That said, what are you hoping for in terms of how this will all unfold in the coming weeks and months?
Well, we hopefully will have a ruling soon from the court upholding the rights of the students. And if not, we'll take this case up to the next Court of Appeals. and eventually to the Supreme Court if necessary.
Do you think we'll reach that far?
Certainly could. There's a bad decision from the Supreme Court from 2010 that has opened the door a little bit for universities to do what they're doing, and we think that they're going too far, and we're sure that the court will eventually correct it.
Before I let you go, I do want to at least expound on the fact that, yes, you're representing Christian organizations, but you're really concerned about all organizations of faith, correct?
Absolutely. Student groups, Sikh groups were kicked off campus, Muslim groups, Jewish groups, all of these groups should have the right to exist on equal terms with everyone else. The religion shouldn't stop them from having equal access to campus.
All right, Eric Baxter with Beckett Law, we appreciate your insight.
Thank you.